Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our session that's dedicated to using data from Earth observation satellites and about the national cases and about analysis on our process. Thank you for joining us for today's our session, and I would like to introduce my colleagues and our guests to our session. Thank you for joining us. And first, our panelist is Ismet Bakhrshov. He's from Azercosmos, Azerbaijan Space Agency. And Ismet is a director of GIS Center at Azercosmos. Welcome, Ismet. And
thank you.
The next our colleague is Fani. It's Fani. She's from EBRD, and she is a principal manager at EBRD, and I convinced that she will share lots of investment ideas about it. And the next and the last our panelist is Sohal. Welcome. Sohal is from Director International Strategies at Esri Company. Welcome to our session. Welcome.
Thank you.
Great. Now we will start with our session, just using some questions. Okay. Yes, our session is dedicated to Earth observation solutions and Earth observation investment and trends and challenges. Right now, according to some reports, economical reports, it said that Earth observation trends is increasing 10% every year. So, how do you think Earth data for food security, agriculture, climate change, what about the using? What's the importance of the Earth observation data in nowadays? Yes, Ismet.
Thank you. Actually, there are many fields of applications for satellite imagery. One of them is agriculture, which is very sensitive to any change. So the importance comes for agriculture because by using the satellite data, we are able to see and to analyze the situation and then plan our activities. For example, you imagine you are able to see your farms from the space in real time. So by merging this, and also this data gives you accurate information about soil, weather, and about the vegetation. By merging this valuable information with the farming practices, they can make the practices more efficient, more sustainable. Another use case for the opportunity this information is for the climate change, because the satellite data gives huge information about our globe, including the weather, oceans, and lands. By adding to this huge data, advanced technology, it can generate the information and understanding what's happening, what's the amount of the change, which directly contributes to climate change. Then after that, we can generate the strategies to mitigate to effects, and then after understanding situation to adapt to the new situation. Also, another case is I talked about the previous data and also the current data. What about the future? If there is no future information, prediction, it's not let's say useful information for decision making, for adaptation, for mitigation. So there should be some accurate models which can accurately predict the situation in our change in our globe. Then accordingly, it's possible to create the strategies for mitigation and adaptation.
Thank you, Ismet. Yes, while the Earth observation data processing is skyrocketed in the world right now, dear Fani, how do you think about the investment in which area especially we need investment to Earth observation data, and we need to facilitate to everybody, just to reach by someone, or even the farmers, every people can use Earth observation data very easily. Okay, what about the investment process?
It's working? Hi. So thank you for having me here today, and thank you to Other Cosmos and the IEF, of course, for having me. If you don't mind, I'll just quickly, I don't know if we have Slido, but I don't know if people know who EBRD is. So EBRD is European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. So can you raise your hand if you've ever heard about EBRD? Oh, okay.
Yes,
that's good.
So enough hands, okay.
That's not too bad. I thought it would be worse. So my name is Fanny Kalyanu de Jong, and I work for the EBRD in the climate strategy and delivery team of the bank. And we are a multilateral development bank, so we invest in economies that are transitioning, as we call, to market economies. And we've been doing that since 1991. We are owned by 71 countries, so the word European in front of the bank doesn't really explain a lot. And it's misleading. We did have a chat before, and you know, the word European is misleading. We are owned by 71 bilateral countries, including also the EU and EIB, but of course the USA, Japan, Canada, I could go on and on. So we are multilateral, and we invest from Central Asia. We have an office in Baku, all the way to the Eastern European area. We also invest in the Mediterranean, Northern Africa, and we're going sub-Saharan. All this big story, just to zoom in now to the green elements of the bank. So we've been investing about 50 billion euros, I'm not kidding, 50 billion euros of green investment since 2006, which makes us quite unique in the IFI world, in the international financial institution. So we like to be called the green bank, and that's why I'm wearing green, just to prove a point. But for us, this is, beyond just a business. We know we need to invest more into sustainable technologies, green technologies in all our countries of operation. But what we are good at is to bring, alongside our investments, to bring also private sector financing. So we mobilize that on top of what we invest. So the numbers I gave you, imagine we are doubling that in private sector financing that come along. So there is business in there. But for me, Earth observation is obviously one of the solutions, because climate change hasn't been resolved. As you can see, I mean, if you look at my own home country, I'm Greek. So if you look at what happened in Greece the last 3 months, we had fires, wildfires, we had floods, we had everything, and it's not a pretty picture. So I do want to show the urgency is not only about investment, it's about resolving a problem, and we need all the help we can get at this stage. So I hope the audience agrees with me, but clearly, climate change is not at our doorstep. It's in the house. Literally, it's in the house. So what do we do for that? Earth observation have been around for decades. We've been observing, looking, seeing, monitoring. But if all that data is not used to actually address the problems, find solutions, ideally affordable solutions that are scalable, then we're not doing anything. And I'm a bit amazed that in EBRD we don't have a space team. I mean, I don't know. I haven't mentioned space in my title or in my unit's name. Is because we do invest in satellites. We do a lot, but it's not being called space, because nowadays space actually is involved in everything. Every sector. So we have an agriculture team, we have a transport team, banking teams, everything. But there's no space word in there, because the penny hasn't dropped yet. It's dropping now. Clearly, the bubble is open. I heard yesterday quite a few people talk about the bubble, space bubble. You're talking to yourselves. No, you're not. I'm here. I'm not a space person, but I see the link, and I think Earth observation will be part of the solution. Needs to be part of the solution. You mentioned agriculture. I mean, for us, it's a no-brainer, especially precision farming, anything you can use to make farming more efficient, smarter. But we have to be conscious that we're talking about farming is a tradition in many countries. We should not forget how we communicate to who we communicate and how do we explain why we think you need to go there. Why do you need that kind of data and make it into a solution to resolve your issues? Because if you talk to data to a farmer, they will be like, that has nothing to do with my tradition. All these years I've passed it on to my, the next generation. And you need to actually communicate that this will make you smarter, more efficient, better, land management, crop production. So yes, I mean, I see a lot of investment opportunities also because all these technologies, they need investment. And I'm a bank, so obviously it's we need to join the dots. Thank you.
Yes, Fanny, actually and factually, it is so nice challenge that we need to mobilize our, power to firstly communicate why we need Earth observation satellite and why we need Earth observation data. It's just a raw material, okay, we understand. But how can we use this raw material for tackling any kind of problem in the Earth? Because our Earth is okay, we have some problems, we have security, we have food security, climate change, lots of problems and environmental challenges. Okay, so firstly, to explain to community first, communication, why we need it, why. If you find the why, okay, investment, everything can be solved, I think. Huge thanks for your challenging words. Yes, well, we are talking about the 10 years expectations, 10 years about the GIS sector, geospatial data, Earth observation data, and as well as investment. But what about the application? And what about which application can help and can support us on this pathway?
Thank you very much for the question. Let me start with few statements. When I started my career in the GIS field and remote sensing field, like late 90s, finding a satellite imagery was extremely difficult. And if you would ever find a satellite image, I mean, it will be like maybe 30 meter resolutions or 15 meters, 30 kilometer resolution or 15 kilometer resolution, which was like massive. You can't really see anything out of it. Now, I believe we're living in the golden age of remote sensing and the Earth observation. Massive amount of data are being captured daily, and data of all kind of, of all resolutions and super accurate data, 30 centimeter resolutions. And if we would consider like aerial photography or drones, you can go down to 1 centimeter resolution. So simply you can see everything you need to see. And on Earth and underground and underwater, you can see like all kind of data, and you can capture all kind of data. And this data will be, used for all kind of applications, We believe that Earth observation is a fantastic data capture and data verification also tool and analytics. When we consider the UN Sustainable Development Goals, like 17 goals, that each country need to report, their progress on each one of these goals. You would find that Earth observation provides support and helps with the verification and the progress reporting, maybe on 12 to 14 goals out of the 17. Like starting from hunger, you can easily, detect the crop yields, locations. You can come up with estimates and census for the crop yields around the entire country. You can also monitor access to clean water supply. You can manage and detect like poverty, because simply from the urban signature, you can tell if this neighborhood is for high income area or low income area based on the lights and the cars and the type of the urban area. You can go through all kind of sustainable development goals, each one of the goals, and you would find that the technology and tons of applications are out there now ready to help decision makers and countries to report and detect all kind of this. And on top of that, again, back to what my friend Esmet said, the GIS applications or the the Earth observation applications is all over the place. It helps with, decision making on government level, on policy level, on all levels. So I believe we're living in a golden age for remote sensing and Earth observation.
Yes, so thank you for and valuable thoughts about it. And yes, actually applications are more not only valuable, but we need to benefit from applications in every details. Because I know that while working with ISMET, we know that the processing images and data, it's not simple thing. But of course, and another challenge is how to use this material after processing. We need programs, application. We know that, but how to deliver to the end user? It's a global challenge problem, and it's not problem, just like issue. We can estimate the issue. Okay, thank you for regarding your this question. So and I will moving along to our next questions about now that as known that certain goal of UN called combating climate change. Okay, we have approached some points to about the climate change, but what about the direct way? And what about the national cases, for example, for our climate change? Ismet, I would like to start with you because we have some interesting facts about the climate change and as a field of the national cases.
Okay, thank you. As a part of this globe, we are also facing the changes in climate. So by observing the previous and current situation, and we are creating the valuable information for the government just for understanding the situation. I can give examples. Just if we compare current floods happening in our country, it is 30 times more than just comparing a few years before. It's increased in a huge way. So it is it's a signal that the upcoming years we have to be ready for the situations, and the floods and our country. It's not a usual events for our country, but it happens now. It's in our door. That's why what we can do for better to be sustainable to this situation. Of course, by itself, the Earth observation data is a huge amount of the pixels, may not be enough information for end users such as farmers, government, but how to do it's valuable. Of course, there should be enforcement for private companies. There should be support by government. By investment, we can enforce them to be creative, innovation, new applications that can use this amount of data to create valuable information. Another issue, it's not issue, just data transparency and also the data sharing is very important. Just imagine the petabytes of the data. You have to process it and get valuable information from this. You need the infrastructure and open data sharing that it's valuable by enforcing the private sectors to create new applications, which is important for farmers, for decision makers.
Yes, Ismet, regarding to the national cases, we know that you are also preparing some reports.
Yeah. The report is, we are preparing reports starting from including agriculture, drought, floods, deforestation, glaciers, and what the very interesting thing is the Caspian Sea. Everywhere they talk about the increasement water level, but in the Caspian Sea there's a decreasement. It's due to its geographical definition, because it's not actually the sea, it's the largest lake. So income from the rivers reduced and evaporation is increased, and high temperatures is forced to decrease the sea level. It's also upcoming challenge for us. We provide then the water amount, information about water amount, how it's changed, because Azerbaijan, more than 80% of the water resources is from abroad. It generates from different countries, and by the rivers come to the country. It's also a very sensitive point for our country. So but creating the report, it's just one way, but the sharing the report is more important. For this, we are using the applications, just putting the report application to public, to the all government entities to think about and to be ready for the upcoming challenges.
Yes, Mr.
Yes, I have one comment to add here. You know, like, I mean, we're based in California, and the climate change from our perspective is real, and it's happening faster than we can ever anticipate. Like, last month, we got the first hurricane in California in 100 years. Never. And even California is not ready to deal with like massive amount of rains and hurricane type of disaster. If you watch the news last week, New York City received massive amount of flooding. I mean, the amount of rains that dropped in New York was more than the rains that usually would drop in New York in 1 month, in one maybe a few hours. And the flooding was all over the place. So, I mean, we believe that climate change is significant, and it's really, I mean, threatening all of us. But the reality is not everyone understands or believes in that. They believe that climate change is for like techies and like nerds, and it's not really real, but it's real, and it's happening, and it's impacting all of us. In the US, we developed a portal called CMRA, Climate Mapping Resilience Adapter. It's an online portal made for the White House. And this portal is available for any counties, any cities, any community in the US where they can study the expected climate change impact on their community, and also assess the readiness to deal with the expected, disaster, be it like fire, wildfire, or rain, or so. I mean, so again, we're trying to make the technology. So we create the technology, Earth observation centers and satellite companies produce the data, and we make these data available for communities. You don't have to be technical. You could be a banker, and you can just use the portal, assess your location, assess the risk factors you have for your location or your community, and then get ready and even determine your budget. Like, I need budget to protect my community before maybe the winter hits, and so on and so forth. So making the technology and the data available for everyone is becoming real now.
Fanny, I believe you have some ideas about it.
Yes, actually, I just wanted to say the golden age of Earth observation data is happening, but I feel we're also sitting on a gold mine. So I think we talk about data, and as I said, it needs to translate to who we talk about. I mean, data. We need to talk about problems and how to resolve them. I think, if you don't actually explain what are the benefits of Earth observation data, people will not pick it up. Governments may do on climate change. I mean, we work with many governments to discuss their NDCs, the big pledges. And thanks to Earth observation, we can monitor greenhouse gases and methane emissions. And now we have that global methane pledge also that was, I think, announced at the COP26, so a few years ago, in Glasgow. And the only way to look at methane is from up there, right? It's that's how we can see the biggest emitters. But I would say responsibility right now lies, I mean, I know I'm, a bit doom and gloom, but as we said, climate change is here. It's no longer a question. But we have to act urgently. And this golden age, we need to use it down to solutions, scalable in every country. And it's not only the job of the governments. We need the private sector. A new space economy is rising at a fast pace, and we agree that the private sector is right there. Every day I'm sure that there are new actors coming into play, and we need to feel that we are all part of the solution. So governments, of course, but businesses and individuals. I mean, I may be here as in my capacity of EBRD, but I'm also a consumer, I'm an investor, I'm a mother, I'm a global citizen. So for us, we need to think about the big picture and not look at today and tomorrow and how much we can make out of this. Because again, planet is our home. That's how I like the analogy. And the next tenants, the next people occupying it will not be us. Hopefully by 2050, when net zero will happen, I'm still around, but you never know. The next generations, they deserve, a clean house. When you change, you move out, you expect it to be clean. I like to simplify sometimes the messages just because you need to reach to everyone. this is everyone's problem right now, and I think we need all the help we can get. We need to tackle it together. We need to form partnerships with every different angle of the equation, and that involves citizens, governments, and businesses. So for me, it's all about, I like the phrase collective complementarity, because ultimately everyone is different. We're all different. But what do we bring in to make the solution happen faster and better and more efficiently? Usually we act better with more purpose when we have a common goal and we see the common goal. I think it gives us more, I think at least it motivates me when I know that we're all looking at the same goal together. So yes, for me it's important. Earth observation, great, but we need to use it precisely to solve problems that we have now. Thank you.
Thank you, Fanny. Yes, as you mentioned that we are now on the golden age of the Earth observation data and Earth observation solutions. Actually, without any specific and dedicated skills, it couldn't be to improve Earth observation opportunities in the world. For example, as known that Earth observation sector is rapidly developing. So exactly which strategy and what kind of strategy we need to involve and collaborate with the stakeholders from private and public sector. For example, recently we have opened our Aerospace Monitoring Center with our National Aviation Academy, and our students are trained, are prepared, and regarding Earth observation application, how they can use, how they can process images. So, do we have any kind of direct strategy regarding to Earth observation processing data to convey it to end users very easily? Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Thank you. So simply, I would like to add, I'm not sure if I was able to get exactly what your question, but let me comment here, because I think, the objective is making sure that the Earth observation data is used by the end user, available for even like citizens, like in the startup communities. That's critical. And I believe the three of us represent, the three main, I would say, stakeholders: government and Earth observation, investors, and technology companies. That's exactly the three components you need to ensure that the Earth observation is used and it's available for anyone who needs to use Earth observation. Last week in Africa, in Cape Town, the Earth observation community, they ran some sort of competition for startup communities in Africa. They received more than maybe 100 applications for startup ideas. All dependent on Earth observation data. And they ended up selecting 40 companies, all developed different applications developed by young Africans, focusing on fixing local problems in their local communities using Earth observation and geospatial technologies. And they invited World Bank and other global organizations to see if they can fund these ideas. And they finalized, I think the finalists were like 15 companies representing maybe 10, 12 countries, African countries. And the ideas were impressive. I literally sat the entire time listening to, the early 20s young entrepreneurs out of Africa using satellite data, aerial data to enhance the agriculture sector in their country, or deal with climate change issues in their country, or make it easy for farmers to have access to funding, and so on and so forth, using geospatial technology and using Earth observation. So I believe that government need to make the data available. Earth observation centers needs to find ways to make sure that young developers and startup communities would have access to such a great technology. We, from technology perspective, we make our technology free for any startup communities. We support education free of charge. We provide training, free materials, encouraging everyone to use the technology and build all kinds of applications for the sake of, having better future. That's the ultimate goal.
You have addings about it? About the strategies, exact strategies?
No, the strategy is to make sure that it works and it's affordable, and then we can invest. I think to reach the end users, as I said, if it becomes too I would say, almost elite to use some of these data, and you need yearly subscriptions. And I mean, I can be a bit more open about these things, but I do think that many will struggle to use it if they just need 1 or 2 monitoring for their, let's say, developments. So I do think that we need to find a way to make it more scalable, and that would mean affordable. Because yes, I mean, we can make all the money we want, but ultimately, if we don't resolve the issues, then it's as I said, the data just sits there and is not being utilized in its full potential, and it has potential. And again, agriculture is one of the most promising areas of remote sensing, right? So this is where we can use it now, especially with the food security issues. We all understand, what happened after, the war in Ukraine as well. So just to say that population is rising, food demand will rise, deforestation will rise because we need more food. So it's not circular economy at all. It's actually a vicious circle. So we need to get smarter at this. So for me, it's make it not publicly available, I understand there's business behind, but make it more affordable for everyone to use, the farmers, everyone, businesses. And they can translate the data into greener practices, but not only a few, everyone, all sectors. And we invest in all sectors, so that would be great. Thank you.
Yes, as resonated with our IAC 2023 theme that let's give it space a chance. Let's give a chance to them. Yes, Ismail, do you have any add-ins about the strategy?
Yes, actually, I agree with the opinions. Also, I will add only one thing. Only the way to have the sustainable environment, there is collaboration is essential. We have to break the barriers between governments, countries, the public and private sectors to I would say, work in hand to get the maximum result benefits from the space. Earth observation data to fight and with the upcoming or the current challenges to make sustainable world and environment. Yes, thank you.
Yes, now we have, I hope, some questions from our audience. Yes, we listen to you, first one. The lady is having a question.
Thank you. Yes. Good evening. I want to know, Fanny, in your bank, how you evaluate the risks in this class of projects when you take the decision to finance, how you evaluate the geopolitical risks, how you evaluate that can be the risk about the deforestation, whatever a phenomenon can happen, and how all these risks by regions has results in the numbers that now you are financing in the market. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Of course, we have a climate risk team, actually. So since the bank has become almost fully green, 50% green of everything we invest is actually green. And if I give you just a number of last year, so we invested about 12 billion euros worth of investment across all the 38 countries where we invest, and 50% of that was in the green sector. So roughly 6 billion euros were invested in green. So we do have a risk assessment that is also including the climate risk management in there. But we are also fully Paris aligned. We are basically following the objectives of the Paris Agreement for all our portfolio, either it's green or non-green. The geopolitical risk assessment is something that we have a team to do. I don't know specifically for 38 countries, but of course that's taken into account every time we invest. We are also known to be one of the MDBs or international financial institution that takes more risk. Actually, we wouldn't go where others go, or the local people can go. If they can do it, great. We don't need to be involved. We want to go beyond that. We want to take more risk, especially if we we have three principles. Sound banking, so it needs to be commercially viable. So we're not charity, sorry. So it needs to be sound banking, commercially viable, but it needs to have a transition impact. We call it transition impact. We need to know we're making an impact and that our investment actually gives more than just financing. And that we do in different ways. We have also technical assistance embedded in the investments we do. So we would have experts or consultants that are deployed to make sure the projects on the ground happen properly. And we have policy dialogue as well. So we do speak to governments, of course we do. For example, if we want the private sector in a country, specific country, to invest more in renewables or in green technologies, but the actual regulatory framework is not enabling the private sector to invest, then we talk to the government. We try to make it, to understand where are the barriers. Why are the investors not investing in sustainability? So the risk factor is always there, but we are known to go beyond and try to take more risks just to make an impact. And the last one was additionality. So sound banking, transition impact, and additionality. We need, again, to show what more do we bring on the project than just money. I hope I answered a bit. Thank you.
Thank you. The last question from audience. Yes, one more lady is having a question. Last question, only last question.
Thank you so much. This is Ainura from Azocosmos. As a main and leading GIS software provider, Esri, I would like to address this question to Mr. Sohail. So, what emerging technologies or trends in GIS and remote sensing are likely to have a significant impact on sustainable development for the near future?
That's a tough question. So simply, I think like everyone now is talking about like artificial intelligence and the integration between or using artificial intelligence, to analyze Earth observation data would open so many doors and so many like application areas for investors to invest in. As we speak now, we're working with multiple major startup communities working on building applications that leverages geospatial technology and artificial intelligence to produce, new solution areas and new applications that would change the world. It from all perspectives. Our ability to detect like crop health would be like unheard of, very accurate. Our ability to be more efficient in supplying the plants with water would be more, effective and would allow us to expand and go and cultivate more lands. Our ability to deliver food to the needy, would be unlimited. The sky is the limit when you integrate artificial intelligence with geospatial technology, because then the system would be able to take, human decisions. Again, based on massive amount of information and the ability. So the bankers would be super busy supporting and funding these organizations. Massive amount of data are going to be available and information products. So I'm expecting like in the coming maybe 12 to 18 months, the landscape of the geospatial industry would be totally different when these new application areas would be made available. That's my answer.
Thank you for questions. Okay, dear our panelists, huge thanks for your tremendous support for organizing this our session. So thank you for coming here. Thank you for audience. Huge thanks.